Got an exciting load for y'all. This was a last minute. I'll tell y'all about how I found it later, but it's gonna be full weekend. It's really my first Friday pickup, so I'm excited to kind of see how the weekend goes. Kind of taking my time, getting to where I need to be. See, you can't see, but you can hear. I'm checking out my pull-out ramps, so that should give y'all some type of hint. Not used them yet, just want to make sure they were good, and they are. Now I gotta make sure my chains and straps, ones that I need, are here, and then we'll be on the road. Gotta pick up by 3. Right now I'm scheduled to get there like 2:15. Good. So we got everything we need for this. Lock it up, and we out. This load, I called the last one the ATM, the money load. This is the money load. This is not as great as it could be, but it's really, really, really good. I'm gonna be very open with y'all about this load and the rate and all of that, so you do get an understanding, again, the good, bad, and the ugly of sort of, you know, the worth of getting into this industry. That ATM load was $2,000 for a little less than 1,600 miles. I think it was 1,300 miles total, $2,000. It was also only 1,200 pounds. This load is 9,000 pounds. It's a truck. It is one of those trucks that wash garbage cans. Not sure if you've seen that before, but I'll make sure I either insert a clip here or kind of give y'all a walk around later on of the truck. But we are going to Reno, Nevada. So that, and it was picked up in San Antonio. So it's a 2-hour deadhead to pick it up. And it is a 24-hour drive from where I'm at now. I've been driving for probably an hour and a half already. And it's a little over 1,600 miles. So this load is paying $5,000. Now for me, this is only what, going into my 3rd week on the road. This is great for me. I'm very appreciative of this load. I'm sure there'll be some other guys who have been driving longer who, you know, might have an issue with the rate because of how much it weighs. I mean, I will say that I know I'm gonna have terrible gas mileage. I mean, I'm tracking it right now. It's already gone down 2 miles per gallon. Once I get out of hill country in Texas, which I should be out of soon, going towards El Paso, it'll be a lot more flat. I'm not sure the landscape totally of New Mexico, Arizona, and Nevada. I know Nevada's flat, so those kind of flats will kind of help me level it off. I'm guessing, and I'll give an update at the end of this video of where I ended off when I got there with my gas mileage. Right now I'm at 10. When I left, I was at like 12. So again, I expect it to fluctuate. Let's see. Yeah, back to 5,000. So I think it was like definitely not great at math. I can't remember what the rate con said. I think it's like $2.40 a mile, something like that. I expect to spend probably $1,000 on gas, upwards to $1,000. I probably won't spend that much, but we'll see. I'm already tracking. I just did my first fill up. It was 150 bucks. We'll see how much gas is over there. That'll definitely play a factor. I'm sure it's going to get more expensive the further west I go. What else? I've got you'll see on here the securement, very easy securement. I've already checked on it when I filled it up. Everything is good to go. Sorry, I keep looking. I'm very active on my mirrors. For those interested in getting into business, get used to that. You just always want to kind of keep an eye on your load, the vehicles that are around you, just all of those aspects. It will help you in the long run because you'll never get surprised. I know there are a lot of drivers, like normal drivers on the road, that aren't great at checking their mirrors before they go over. When you're like active and you're always checking all 3 of your mirrors, I think it kind of prepares you and puts you in a better mindset. I'm a very defensive driver, so I'm able to see vehicles behind me, what they're gonna do. But y'all didn't come here to learn how to drive from me, so I digress. So I'm going to it's Friday, by the way. It's the 27th. The load needs to be delivered on Monday, the 30th, which is Memorial Day. I do not have a drop-off time. I'm going to call the receiver tomorrow when I get back on the road to give them an idea of when I will drop on Monday. I'm thinking I'm gonna drop closer to noon because I'm not in a rush. I've got all weekend to drive. I've got like almost 6 hours and 45 minutes or so left to drive today. That's gonna get me to El Paso. Once I'm in El Paso, I've knocked out a good chunk of my drive. I think my next big chunk will be in Nevada. I didn't know Reno was so far north in Nevada, so I'm gonna be very surprised to see what kind of load we find coming back and where it's from. I know there's a lot of loads coming out of California. There's also a lot of red tape in California, so I'm not not sure how excited we'll be to drive over there. You got Oregon, you got Washington State, Utah, Idaho, Arizona, I'll be in Nevada. So we'll see. We'll see what we got coming back, maybe even Colorado. Who knows? All I know, I'm very, very excited about this load. I'm excited about the, I guess just the test. We've gotten bigger and bigger each load. I mean, my first, if y'all remember, I think in my first video I had those sort of like air ducts that were stacked up in the wooden crates. That was kind of high for me, being I think my only second load, and my first load was very, very small compared to that. And then the ATM, which was seems super tall to me, and now we have this truck, but the truck is only sitting at, I did the measurements, I think I'm it's standing 9 feet from my deck up, and then I've got about 3 feet, a little less than 3 feet, so I think I'm at like 11.6, 11.5 for total height. But I think after that ATM, height doesn't make me nervous anymore. I parked the truck on Tuesday after I dropped off a load in Lubbock. I'm probably not gonna, I was gonna do a video for that, but I was only on the road for a day. I think that load paid a little over $1,000 to go like 300 miles. So that was another good load. But I ended up just deadheading back home because there weren't any great loads. My plan was to stay in state, and I think I mentioned that at the end of my second video, that my plan was to stay in state just because the rates hadn't been great. But I got up this morning, Friday morning, and just, you know, so happened to check the load board just to see what things look like. If there was anything, you know, that I could possibly pick up and deliver somewhere in Texas on Monday, and I came across this load. So I reached out to my dispatcher and said, hey, look, this money, I feel like we'd be dumb if we missed out on this. You want to go ahead and give them a call and see what it is. I had no idea what the load was. I saw the weight, I saw the length, I said that's doable. I saw the drop-off location, and so she called me back in like 10 minutes and said, hey, we got it, can you be there at 3? So, you know, I hadn't really cleaned my truck yet, good and bad thing. So I pretty much had everything that I needed. I needed to pack a new bag and hop on the road, and so I got to San Antonio at about 2:30, loaded this freight, this truck, and now I'm on my way. So, you know, I think that's one of the beauties about this business is you make your own schedule. I mean, you drive when you feel like driving. But I decided, you know, $5,000 just to drive over the weekend was great. And in all reality, you know, this is going to be my first month in business where all my bills are due. And so, you know, just creating that cushion to where when I do pay my bills, I'll still have, you know, a good nest egg in my business account, and I want to continue to build that. And so when I can find loads like these where I might go OTR for a couple days, I'm going to take them every time. I'm going to push to move the rate up. I'll say as well, you know, with our 30-day, less than 30-day authority still, I think we've got one more week. The first week of June will be the end of our 30 days. This broker wasn't going to give us this load. And that goes to having a great dispatcher. She was like, look, I got a driver, he could be there. He's been doing OTR, you know, he's good to go, let's go. And I think fortunately they had somebody come by earlier who was incorrect about his deck length, and so they couldn't get it on there. And so I think it was partly they just needed to get rid of it. So you need to get it on the road before the end of the day. So anyway, it goes to show, don't give up. Don't take no for an answer, and don't try and do it by yourself. Again, I'm super pleased with my dispatcher. We work well together. Nickname I was telling her the other day, we Kobe and Shaq. One is in the books. We're at Fort Stockton. We're in Fort Stockton, Texas, at the Fort Stockton Flying J. I've heard a lot of bad things about Flying J. This one took the cake. Subway was closed at 10 o'clock. At the travel center. So I got one of the salads. I've not tried the salad yet because I got some chicken for free because it was expired. They don't have any dressing in there, so I'm eating a dry salad. Overall, not too pleased. I was really excited to stop and get a Subway sandwich. I'm not sure why it would close at a truck stop at 10 o'clock. It's not really an option to eat anything else. I'm tired. I'm gonna go to sleep, get up, I think at 8 a.m., hit the road again, and get a little bit closer to Reno. So, good night. I will see y'all first. Good morning. It is probably loud from this AC. I'm not gonna turn it down because West Texas is hot. It's hot. It's a high of like, I think the high is 110 today. Thankfully I'm being in the truck, but it's still gonna be warm in here, so we're gonna keep this AC booming as much as possible. It's hot. Slept terribly last night. It was hot last night. It didn't cool off until like 2-3 o'clock. Turn this down so I don't feel like I'm yelling. It didn't cool down till like 2-3 o'clock. So I didn't really fall asleep until then. Tossing and turning, it was just warm. Definitely buying a cooler vent fan thing. I think the brand that I was looking at is Icy Freeze. I'm gonna go ahead and spend the money on that because there's no way around trying to beat this heat. It's just rough. So that is what I'm gonna do. I may order it now, that way it's there when I get back. Anyway, slept terribly last night. I couldn't get past the heat. It was so hot. I had my fans running. I wasn't gonna idle the truck. My MPG is already terrible as it is. So I just had to suck it up. We got up this morning, did everything we needed to do. I'm about to run into this feed supply store and get Afeni some food because we are all out. And I'll be back in here. Got my little fix of the news. One thing I want to address, and I don't have a large platform, so I'm sure this won't go too far, but I'm pretty disappointed in the influencers, or the specifically YouTubers, that is ignorant, regardless if I agree with them or not. It's just speaking on the issue that everybody's talking about again. And I hate when we do that as a people. Like, we all have opinions. Sometimes our opinion doesn't matter to anybody other than ourselves. It's okay to have an opinion that's internalized because you just don't know enough about the subject. We have this conversation about guns all the time, especially here in Texas. You know, we're a gun-loving state. Everybody has a gun, and so the conversation is a lot more difficult to have. You don't live in Texas, you don't understand that stance within itself. You can't, you know, I'm gonna do my best. And for those who know me, y'all know I'm in politics. I consider myself a politician. Not the way that the word is used, but that's why I consider myself. But I'm not gonna come on here on videos talking about trucking, talking about politics. I don't understand why we mix everything all the time. I work every day with people who disagree with me politically. I'm sure the store I just left would have been real, would have had some words to say if they knew my political stance and who I've worked for in the past, etc. I say all that to say, as an influencer, you have a platform to influence. Obviously, that's where the word stems from. But the way in which, and y'all can use it however y'all choose, but the way in which y'all choose to influence, continuously just spreading information that is not true, painting a picture that is not true about this, and that who you need to be upset at is the people in your state level politics. If you're in Texas, you know who those people are. If you're in your other states, find out. But it's your state legislator, and then it's Congress, and you know, we have checks and balances for a reason. Again, regardless, this is not going to be a civics conversation. If y'all want to talk politics, I'll make you 2 videos about politics, and we can go very deep into politics. But I'm just really frustrated every video that I've watched. And I like, you know, I'm a proud student of YouTube University, but also I subscribe to a lot of guys that are doing what I'm doing, or doing more. Semi-trucks, in some way, shape, or form, they're doing trucks. But they all seem to have an opinion that is either one kind of crafted via ignorance, or is marching along the line of talking points, where if we just use our logic, political party aside, issues like this get solved a little better. But I don't know. Maybe you can tell what my political stance is from what I just said, but regardless, I don't care what you are. Most of y'all that are watching these videos are probably never going to be my constituents. Therefore, I'm not going to talk about issues that are specific to me and specific to the community I live in. But I just want us to do better, because we can use opportunities like this, unfortunate opportunities like this, to create change. But when the narrative is controlled and we start pointing fingers instead of finding those solutions, then we're gonna talk ourselves in a circle, and it's gonna happen again somewhere else. And we can't allow that to happen anymore. Not for us, not for the generations before us, because, in all honesty, you ask my opinion, they failed many, many, many times getting a hold on this. And so this is for our kids, this is for the generations after us. So I don't know. I'm real passionate about it. I've seen everybody else was talking about it, so I hesitated a little bit, but you know, that's about as far as my opinion goes. I'm not gonna sit here and point fingers, because it doesn't help here. My opinion, the action that I'm taking from what has happened, and that I urge you to take, is to register to vote if you haven't, to tell some friends to register to vote, but then also go vote. No matter what you think, no matter what you say, no matter how you put it, politics is involved in everything. You don't have to attend rallies or watch the news or do anything. You educate yourself and just go vote. One day out of the year, or depending on where you're at, you might have multiple elections. But for those 5 minutes when you go select who you're voting for, remember then what you're going to vote for. Remember then the issues that have been had, and really listen to the people who have been talking about the issues or who are taking a hard stance about the issues of what has happened. Again, I don't want to turn this into a politics thing, so I just had to speak out on what I've been seeing. I think it's nasty. I think it's irresponsible. If you're going to use your platform, use it for something positive, and find a way to create change rather than continue to create the divide. So there's that. So when you see the videos of today, when I get y'all some driving videos, you're going to see it's a lot flatter. There's nothing out here at all. I'm in between Fort Stockton and El Paso. I used to live in El Paso. I think it was for about 3 years, 2 years at the very least. It might have just been 2 years. It was a while ago. I was young. I was in elementary school. I'm trying to think what grade I was in. Actually, I think it was like a year and a half. I was there for 3rd grade and for half of 4th grade, and then my dad deployed to Iraq. So I went to Northern Virginia to live with my grandparents while he was in Iraq. But yeah, I used to live in El Paso. I have not been back to El Paso since I lived there, so it has been a long time, over 20 years. I used to love it. Still have a lot of memories in El Paso. Yeah, so I'm excited to drive through it, see if I can recognize or remember anything. I'm sure it's changed dramatically, but we'll see. Well, that's enough of morning talk. I'm sure this part of the video is going to be way longer than intended, oh my goodness. Again, with the shooting that just happened in Texas, if you have any civics understanding, you know that there's nothing that our president and the administration can do about this, and that who you need to be upset at is the people in your state level politics. If you're in Texas, you know who those people are. If you're in your other states, find out. But it's your state legislator, and then it's Congress, and we have checks and balances for a reason. Again, regardless, this is not going to be a civics conversation. If y'all want to talk politics, I'll make you 2 videos about politics. I need a permit. So to go in there and get a permit? Okay, all right, thank you. So, apparently in New Mexico, you need a permit for the weight. So they ask for DOT number and registration. So we're gonna take everything inside, 1, 5, 6, and see what we need to do. This is my first time dealing. This isn't a DOT inspection. It may turn into a DOT inspection. I'm not sure what to expect. So we're about to find out. Gonna leave the AC and crack the window for a Feeny. Y'all wish me luck. I'll let y'all know how it goes when I get back. So we got the all clear. They don't do any inspection. You just take your registration in and your DOT number. They'll confirm who you are via the DOT number. And for me, I paid $14 for the permit to drive through New Mexico. They'll ask for your route. I don't know how many different highways are in New Mexico, so I told her, well, you just know that before you go in. Know your route through New Mexico. They just need to know that. I'd be interested in knowing, understanding, like, how often do wait stations need to be open? Why are so many of them closed all the time? I mean, at this point, I've driven from South Carolina. I've pretty much driven from end to end in the country through the Southern Corridor, and I've only had to stop on that first trip, but 3 times, I think, maybe 2, going through wait stations in the East Coast. And I think I was in South Carolina for one of them and Georgia for the other, I think. Excuse me. Other than that, there are no wait stations anywhere. So I'd be very interested to know why, or how when they're open. And then the same goes for this Border Patrol. Like, I would assume it's a holiday. It's a holiday weekend. It's going to be vehicles on the road. Like, this would be the time with the high number. I don't know.
Desire is a beat.
Good morning. Good morning. Sorry about that sun. Speaking of the sun, nobody told me, and it's extremely disrespectful, that the sun starts rising here in, I'm guessing the West Coast, but in Nevada specifically. I think it was 5:15 this morning, 5:30, the sun was up. It looked like this. And I don't have shades on my windows yet. So, as you can imagine, it was a bit difficult to get my last couple of hours of sleep in. It is 7:40. I have 12 minutes left until my reset's complete. And then we have a 4-hour drive to Reno. Suggestion before you hit the road, especially a long haul. And I mentioned this, I think, in my second video about an auxiliary fuel tank. I can't stress how important that tank is on this side, especially driving through Arizona, Nevada. I'll show y'all Finny in a second. She decided to start eating while I was talking. Especially in Nevada. Say good morning. Eating a little bit of breakfast. Munching. Auxiliary fuel tank. Extremely important. State Highway 95 in Nevada, which is between Las Vegas and Reno. If you don't have an auxiliary fuel tank and you're getting less than 10 miles a gallon, right now I'm getting 5.9, it is terrible. But if you're getting less than 10 miles a gallon, I suggest at every opportunity to top off on your gas, you do so. Reason being, they are so far apart that you run into the risk of running out of gas. Example, we're about to start driving in 10 minutes and I have, I think, 27 gallons of gas left. I'm lying, I have 27 miles until I'm out of gas. The next gas station is 24 miles away. So we're going to be cutting it close. Obviously with an auxiliary fuel tank, I wouldn't have to fill up once between Las Vegas and Reno. So I'm thinking about I'm about to buy an auxiliary tank. Number one, my terrible MPGs. Feel like I've been driving up mountains this whole time. That's how much I got left until I'm on E. This is how far I am from the next gas station. When I'm telling y'all, please, when you're driving on 95, State Highway 95 in Vegas, in Nevada, from Vegas to Reno, or somewhere in between, stop at every single gas station you can and just top off. Because, boy, they're so far in between each other that when you're pulling and just getting terrible MPG like I am right now, which is okay. It is what it is. Can't do nothing about it right now. I got too much weight on me. But, it's a chance. It's a chance I could have, broke down without gas. And, again, I'm so far from anything. I doubt there's anywhere that I'd be able to get help from at any time soon, especially on the day of drop off. So, and on Memorial Day. So, take something from this video, get an auxiliary fuel tank. Alright, that's the end of part one. I'm gonna do a part two of my trip back. I just dropped in Reno. I'm currently on my way to buy an auxiliary tank from a private seller. Just need it, so that's gonna be, I'm gonna work on that. Might do some content on putting that in. Also might not, because there's been so much content on the first piece of this trip that I'm almost out of memory. So yeah, headed up in the mountains, picking up this auxiliary tank and hopefully installing it here as well. Seemed like he wants to help me put it in. And yeah, we'll do some content headed back. I'm gonna deadhead out of Reno, ideally out of Nevada. So we're gonna drive out of Nevada tonight, and then hopefully we'll find something in Arizona or New Mexico in the morning. And that will be part 2. So I appreciate y'all on this trip. I had to rewind because I forgot to say I did have a little oopsie when I pulled up. First off, the area in which I dropped off was just not friendly. What am I hitting? It was not truck friendly at all, and so it was really difficult to maneuver. The owner lived on a one-way street that was just so many trees that when I tried to pull over, I kind of hit the side of the truck that I was towing, scraped it with one of the trees. I lightly say scraped because I didn't damage the decal. It's scuffed. So I'll find out. I'll let y'all know how that goes with the shipper and the broker tomorrow when I hear back from them. But yeah, it's been an eventful trip. It's been a long trip. Learned a lot from it. I'll get this video put together hopefully in the next day or 2 and get this out to y'all ASAP, and then send y'all part 2. Peace.